Hello, grade 10 students. Welcome to our lesson all about the different media-based arts in the Philippines. In this lesson, we are going to explore different modern techniques and trends in photography, film, print media, digital media, and product and industrial design, as well as the famous artists in these fields. Let us now start with our lesson. The previous quarter provided an overview of the phenomenal capabilities and possibilities of the electronic or digital media available in today's technology-driven world. These have enabled amazingly innovative art forms to evolve far beyond traditional painting, sculpture, and architecture. As quickly as technology is able to develop new devices, gadgets, and techniques, modern artists and designers adapt them to enhance their creative expression. In this quarter, the modern techniques and trends in photography, film, print media, digital media, and product and industrial design will be explored. Most notably, the talent, creativity, and quality workmanship of Filipino artists and designers in all these fields will be recognized and celebrated. Not only have these brought Philippine artistry to the world's attention, but they have opened up an entire range of opportunities for young Filipinos to develop and apply these talents and earn a living while doing so. Technological advances continue to be a major driving force in the directions that each of these art forms has taken. Among the results have been exciting innovations in materials manipulation, coloring and embellishment techniques, and creation and production processes applied to all today's media, whether physical and tangible or virtual in cyberspace. We will be discussing in this lesson the different media such as photography, film, animation, print media, and product and industrial design. Let's start with photography. In its early stages, during the late 19th century, photography was viewed as purely technical process that of recording visible images by light action on light-sensitive materials. In fact, its very name from the Greek photos, meaning light, and graphos, meaning writing, states this process literally. In comparison to the highly regarded arts of painting and sculpture, then photography was not immediately considered art, but it was not long before the artistry of 20th century photographers elevated this light writing to an aesthetic form in its own right. The photographer as an artist. Focusing a camera at a subject and clicking the shutter is photography as process. Discerning a significant moment or a unique expression, framing it in the camera viewfinder with an eye for composition, and then clicking the shutter is photography as art. That discernment and that eye for composition are the factors that elevate a photographer from a mere recorder of images to an artist. In a pictorial shoot, the photographer may position lighting, modify the lens, or use filters to create an effect he or she has conceptualized beforehand. The tools and techniques may not be those of the traditional artist, but the aesthetic principles are the same. For today's photographers, the process goes even further. They may take the exposed film into a dark room or subject the digital images to their photo editing software, and there manipulate the images with the myriad of photo enhancement techniques and tools currently available. Whether left untouched from the instant the image was captured or was digitally or manually altered, the resulting photographs can be startlingly impactful. It becomes clear how the photographer has captured the elements of form, color, light, and shadow, texture, and composition to create a true work of art. Photography as communication. Being a modern art form means that photography is now viewed as being more than just beautiful. It is also considered one of the most powerful means of communication. Next to the printed word, The photographic image is today's most important means of conveying information and ideas, expressing emotions, even championing causes. This power comes from two distinctive characteristics of photography: immediacy and detail. An image recorded by a camera has a sense of authenticity. Because the lens captures the image objectively, the resulting photograph is regarded as true to life and of the moment. At the same time, the camera takes in every detail of an image. Thus, the photograph has a sense of completeness. For these reasons, photographs are vital tools in communication fields such as journalism, advertising, education, and even in courts of law. They have also been used to eloquently speak out against social and political issues. The Philippines has joined the rest of the world in applying the wonders of modern photography to every aspect of life, from personal to professional to national to global. And with our country's natural beauty, a number of local photographers have taken on the Philippines and our people as a major focus of their lenses. Among these are George Tapan, John K. Chua, Manny Librodo, and many other talented members of the Federation of Philippine Photographers Foundation or FPPF. Here are some noteworthy Philippine photographers, starting with George Tapan. George Tapan is an award-winning travel photographer who has won 2 Pacific Asia Tourism Association Gold Awards, an ASEAN Tourism Association Award, and first place in the 2011 National Geographic Photo Contest. His highly acclaimed work has been published in 5 travel photography books. Here are some samples of photos by George Tapan. In this photo, it is entitled Into the Green Zone. It is Tapan's first place winning image in the 2011 National Geographic Photo Contest. Another one is John K. Chua. He is best known as an advertising and commercial photographer with over 40 years of experience in this field and numerous local and international awards for his work. At the same time, he has applied his photo artistry to showcasing the beauty of the Philippines. Here are some samples of photos by John K. Chua. Let's now go to film. Another art form which has risen to tremendous heights within the last century is film or cinema. As its early name, motion pictures, declared, film brought yet another dimension into play, that of moving images. The possibilities of this medium created a new art form that was to become a powerful social and economic force and a legacy of the 20th century to the world. Technology-driven art. Cinema, just as all modern arts, has been greatly influenced by technology. In the case of cinema, however, it is an art form that came into being because of technological advances. The transition from still photography came in the late 1800s with series photography and the invention of celluloid strip film. This allowed successive still photos of a moving subject to be captured on a strip of film advancing through a single camera. This was the seed of the highly advanced film medium we enjoy today. The need to view these moving images led to the rise of the kinetoscope, a peep show cabinet with an eye hole through which these earliest movies could be viewed one person at a time. A motor inside the cabinet moved the film strip along in a loop with an electric bulb providing illumination from beneath. In the meantime, European and American inventors were providing one technological advancement after another. The French developed the cinematography, a hand-cranked camera, printer, and projector all-in-one that was lightweight enough to bring outside the studio. By 1901, the earliest motion pictures were rapidly progressing from one scene studio films to multiple scene narratives filmed outdoors. Driven by this and many more advances, the art aspect of filmmaking was born. Filmmaking, because of its technical complexity, involves entire teams of artists, writers, and production experts supported by technicians taking charge of the cameras, lighting, equipment, sets, props, costumes, and the like, all under the supervision of a film director. Let's discover the collaborative art of filmmaking. Film directing. It is the director, like the painter and sculptor in traditional art, who envisions the final effect of the film on its viewers visually, mentally, and emotionally. While the painter and sculptor work with physical materials, the film director works with ideas, images, sounds, and other effects to create this unique piece of art. He or she conceptualizes the scenes, directs the acting, supervises the cinematography, and finally, the editing and sound dubbing in much the same way as a visual artist composes an artwork. Clearly, however, the director does not do all this alone. Acting. First and foremost, there was the art of acting for film. With live theater as the only form of acting at that time, film actors had to learn to express themselves without the exaggerated facial expressions and gestures used on stage. With the addition of sound in the 1930s, they then had to learn to deliver their lines naturally and believably. Cinematography. Behind the scenes, there was cinematography, or the art of film camera work. This captured the director's vision of each scene through camera placement and movement, lighting, and other special techniques. Editing. This was joined by film editing, the art of selecting the precise sections of film, then sequencing and joining them to achieve the director's desired visual and emotional effect. Sound editing was also developed, as films began to include more ambitious effects beyond the dialogue and background music. Production or set design. Underlying all this was the art of production and set design. This recreated in physical terms through location, scenery, sets, lighting, costumes, and props. The mental image that the director had of how each scene should look, what period it should depict, and what atmosphere it should convey. This included creating worlds that did not exist as well as worlds that were long gone, designing each production component down to the very last detail. Again, all these allied arts were made possible through the advances of modern technology. From cumbersome machines that could barely be moved, today's highly sophisticated cameras and accessories can handle even the most demanding camera work. From the era of silent films, today's films incorporate a vast range of voice, music, and sound effects to suit an ever-widening array of film genres. From manual rendering, today's animated films use the awesome capabilities of computers to amaze moviegoers of all ages. Let's talk about the different film genres. The public response to motion pictures was immediate and enthusiastic. From makeshift Nickelodeons, movie theaters charging a nickel for entrance in 1904 to luxurious dream palaces for middle-class moviegoers by 1914, public showings of movies were a big hit. With World War I over and the establishment of Hollywood as the center of American filmmaking in 1915, the movie industry was on its way to becoming one of the biggest and most influential of the country. With financial success came the rush to release more and more films in an ever wider variety, leading to the many film genres we know today. First, there were the silent films starring Charlie Chaplin and the slapstick comedy films of Buster Keaton, and later Laurel and Hardy. With sound still unavailable, these films relied on purely visual comedy that audiences found hilarious. Then, There emerged the gangster movie genre as well as horror and fantasy films that took advantage of the sound technology that was newly available at that time. Sound plus color then allowed for further development of animated featured films, as well as what became the major American genre of the 1930s, the movie musical. Here, the spectacle of theater productions was brought to the movie screen, incorporating singing, dancing, and elaborate production numbers enhanced by emerging film techniques. Further developments in cinematic and sound technology led to even more genres: war and disaster films, westerns or cowboy movies, thrillers or suspense films, historical or biographical films, film epics, and film adaptations of literary classics. In a similar way, the tremendous advances in computer technology in recent decades have fueled the rise of futuristic or science fiction films, as well as special effects movies, featuring live actors, animated characters, or live actors and animated characters together. Documentary films, a non-fiction genre, were made using real-life footage as well as file materials, in many cases to present an issue. Finally, a special genre known as art films or indie or independent films caters to a small group of viewers and critics consciously concerned with the artistic merits of a motion picture. Let's now discuss Philippine filmmakers. Some of the most famous Philippine filmmakers were Lino Broca, Mike De Leon, Ishmael Bernal, and Peke Galiaga. Some works of Lino Broca include Tinimbang Ka Ngunit Kulang in 1974, Maynila sa Kuko ng Liwanag in 1975. For Mikey De Leon, we have Itim in the year 1976, Sister Stella L in the year 1984, and Bayaning Third World in the year 1999. Himala in the year 1982 was the most famous film of Ishmael Bernal. And lastly, for Peke Galiaga, he made Oro Plata Mata in the year 1983. Outstanding female directors have likewise made their mark in Philippine cinema. Among them are Loris Guillen and Marilu Diaz-Abaya. Loris Guillen's Salome in the year 1981 earned international acclaim at the Toronto International Film Festival. Her more recent films such as Tanging Yaman 2001, which won Best Picture in the Metro Manila Film Festival, American Adobo 2002, Santa Santita 2004, and Sayo Lamang 2010. All gained her recognition among the current generation of Filipino moviegoers. Next artist is Marilu Diaz-Abaya. She captured the attention and respect of the viewing public with powerful films such as Jose Rizal in 1998, perfectly timed for the centennial celebration of Philippine independence. Muro Ami in 1999, which bravely exposed the deadly practice of using child divers to pound for fish in the Philippines' coral reefs. And Bagong Buwan in 2001, which dealt with the human cost of the Muslim-Christian conflict in Mindanao. We also have Mario J. De Los Reyes, crossing over easily between projects for television and for the big screen is veteran film director Mario J. De Los Reyes. The heartwarming drama film Magnifico won for him the Best Director distinction at the 2003 FAMAS Awards and garnered other local and international film awards as well. De Los Reyes continues to be active in both film and television media, having become known for well-loved teleseries, television drama series. Another filmmaker is Brillante Mendoza. He has brought the country to the cinema world's attention. Mendoza was originally a production designer for films, commercials, and music videos and started directing films in 2005. But in just 4 years, his film Kinatay, The Execution of P, won for him the Best Director Award at the highly prestigious Cannes Film Festival of 2009. Let's now move on to animation. In recent decades, a whole new career opportunity has emerged for creative Filipinos via the field of animation. In fact, Filipino animators have been involved in the creation of some of the best loved and technically challenging animated feature films produced in the last few years. Among these are Toy Story, Up, The Incredibles, Monsters University, Cars, Finding Nemo, Planes, Brave, Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, and more. Such recognition of Philippine talent abroad has in fact spurred the development of the local animation industry as well. The Animation Council of the Philippines Incorporated or ACPI is a non-stock, non-profit organization that aims to create an identity for the Philippines within the animation industry, making it one of the preferred sources of animation services worldwide. The organization works hand in hand with participating colleges and universities, the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA, and other government agencies and local government units to develop animation as a promising career option for Filipinos. In 2013, TESDA and ACPI began offering 2D and 3D animation scholarships to interested high school graduates between the ages of 18 and 45. The showpiece of the ACPI is Animahinacion, an annual festival and competition featuring the works of Filipino animators. Apart from this major project, the ACPI grants the annual Outstanding Emerging Artist in Animation Award for outstanding young and fast-rising cartoonists and animators in the country. It also confers the Animahinacion's Lifetime's Achievement Award on notable animators and other contributors to the Philippine animation industry. The Philippine Animation Studio Incorporated or PASI was established in 1991 and has since collaborated on numerous animation projects and series with foreign partners. Among these have been Captain Flamingo, Producing Parker, Groove High, and Space Heroes Universe. For this last cartoon, PASI was tapped by a children's entertainment company based in Sydney, Australia, and went on to win the Best Animation category in the 2012 Pixel Awards. Here are some of the animations by PASI: Captain Flamingo, Groove High, Producing Parker, and Space Heroes Universe. Among the other exciting milestones in the fast-emerging Philippine animation industry was the creation of 2008 Of Orduha, an animated film adaptation of the legend of the warrior princess of Pangasinan. Produced by APT Entertainment, Seven Toon, and Imaginary Friends, Orduha is recognized as the first fully animated Filipino film, created by an all-Filipino group of animators using the traditional hand-drawn animation process with some 3D effects. The characters were voiced by an all-star cast of actors from Philippine cinema and television with the screenplay written in Filipino. Also released in 2008 was Dayo sa Mundo ng Elementalia, said to be the country's first all-digital full-length animated feature film. Produced by Cutting Edge Productions, the film presents Philippine mythical creatures as heartwarming characters in a young boy's adventure. The production involved over 500 local animators and featured a tradigital animation technique. Its characters were rendered in 2D animation, while the backdrops were created using 3D animation. Dayo was also the first ever animated movie to be screened during the Metro Manila Film Festival, as it was entered in the 34th MMFF in December 2008. Another breakthrough was the first Filipino full 3D animated film, RPG Metanoia, co-produced by Ambient Media, Tomatrop Animation, and Star Cinema in 2010. Let's now move to the print media. Included here are large-scale publications such as newspapers, magazines, journals, books of all kinds, as well as smaller scale posters, brochures, flyers, menus, and the like. Of course, all of these now have their digital counterparts that may be accessed and read on the internet. However, there continues to be a demand and a purpose for the actual printed forms of these materials. And whether printed on paper or viewed on the web, these materials once again involve and showcase Filipino artistry. Advertising. One of the major fields that still relies heavily on print media is advertising. Despite the soaring popularity and seemingly limitless possibilities of online advertising and social media, Philippine artists are still called upon to create advertisements that will be physically printed. These appear in newspapers, magazines, posters, brochures, and flyers, each with their specific target readerships and markets and highly specialized approaches for reaching these target groups. Let's now move to comics. The popularity of Philippine comics began in the 1920s when Liwayway magazine started featuring comic strips such as Mga Kabalbalan ni Kenkoy, The Misadventures of Kenkoy, created by Tony Velasquez. Velasquez went on to be recognized as the father of Filipino comics. With the coming of the Americans to the country, local comics were clearly influenced by popular US comics with superheroes as the main characters, resulting in local counterparts such as Darna and Captain Barbell. Even decades before, however, comics creators had already introduced characters, themes, and storylines from Filipino folklore, mythology, and history. With books and libraries not yet readily accessible to a majority of the Filipino public, comics became a major form of reading material around the country, avidly read and shared by young and old alike. Filipino comics artists also became recognized for their talents both locally and overseas. Thus, from the 1960s to the 1980s, Filipino artists were recruited to work for foreign comics publishers, among them the highly popular DC Comics. A more recent development in the Philippine comics scene has been the rise of comic series reflecting or commenting on current political and social issues or on the Filipino character in a humorous way. One such series is the long-running Pugad Baboy, created by Paul Medina Jr. With the phenomenal rise of digital media in recent decades, however, the local comics industry seemed to take a backseat. But there is a current resurgence of interest not only among comics readers and collectors but among Filipino artists and illustrators creating original concepts and experimenting with exciting new styles. There is now an entire range of subjects, characters, formats, and artistic treatments available for aspiring young comics artists to bring to life. The following are just a sampling of the possibilities. Here are some famous Filipino comics: 13, Skyworld Safe Passage, Kiko Machine, Kuting Magiting, and Meet Space. Let's now go to book design and illustration. Yet another extremely rich and promising area for young Filipino artists is the field of book design and illustration. Thanks to the visionary mindsets of progressive Philippine book publishers such as Bookmark, Anvil Publishing, Adarna Books, and Tahanan Books for young readers, now Ilaw ng Tahanan Publishing, local book designers and illustrators have been given the professional stature they deserve and the creative freedom they need to truly showcase their talents. Here are some examples of books made by Filipino writers and illustrators. Let's now go to digital media. All the artistic skills and techniques that go into producing books like those just presented, of course, have their counterpart in the ever-growing world of digital media. This means that books that were originally available only in print are being gradually converted to digital format, while new books are now conceptualized, written, designed, and illustrated precisely for this online media. This also means that the manner by which today's readers can find, access, and enjoy these electronic books or ebooks is via digital media, tablets, ebook readers, and other handheld reading devices. One such device that is available locally is the ebook reader called Kobo, which features international as well as Philippine titles. Likewise, gaining in popularity are social media-based publishing sites like Wattpad that serves as communities for millions of budding writers to share their original stories online. This phenomenon, along with the rise of electronic distribution platforms such as Flipreads, which provide access to the works of Filipino authors and publishers, is also opening up exciting new opportunities for young artists to do the digital design and illustrations for all these upcoming titles. Yet another breakthrough arena for Filipino imagination, ingenuity, and innovativeness in recent decades has been that of design. Specifically, this encompasses product and industrial design as applied to furniture, lighting, and interior accessories, as well as fashion from haute couture to bridal ensembles to casual wear. As a result, a number of Filipino designers have risen to superstardom both locally and internationally. Let's now discuss innovation in product and industrial design. The first designer is named Kenneth Cobonpue. Cebu-based Kenneth Cobonpue is a multi-awarded designer and the creative director of Hive, a design and manufacturing facility for designers of interior accessories and lighting. Cobonpue's fresh and exciting concepts and excellent craftsmanship have earned him the acclaim and the patronage of discerning clientele the world over, including prominent Hollywood celebrities. Here are some of Cobonpue's works: the Yoda chair, carousel lamps, and Trano chairs. Another one is Monique Louvillier. Also hailing from Cebu City, Filipina fashion designer Monique Louvillier first rose to prominence for her exquisite wedding gowns. But she has since become one of the darlings of the Hollywood celebrity set, with several A-list stars having worn her couture creations to gala events and award shows, as well as to their own weddings. Louvillier studied at the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles and now has her own retail boutiques in that city and in New York. Her collections include bridal and bridesmaid dresses, ready-to-wear, evening gowns, linens, tableware, stationery, and home fragrances. Here are some of Monique's works. Another designer is Josie Natori. Another name that has a prestigious place in the New York fashion industry is that of Josie Natori. Born Josefina Almeda Cruz in Manila, this Filipino-American fashion designer began her career as an investment banker before she made the dramatic shift to creating her own lines of lingerie, resort and loungewear, as well as a semi-formal and casual attire. She went on to establish the Natori Company that has built up a lifestyle brand that today includes 4 lingerie lines, the Josie Natori Ready-to-Wear collection, home accessories, fragrance, and eyewear. Here are some of Natori's works. Next one is Raho Laurel. Probably best known to the general public as a judge on the television series Project Runway Philippines, Raho Laurel is a much-admired Filipino fashion designer with a number of national and international awards to his name. He trained at New York's Fashion Institute of Technology and at Central St. Martin's in London. Laurel is also a savvy entrepreneur, establishing House of Laurel and Raho Laurel Enterprise. His creations maintain a Filipino sensibility, incorporating embroidery, beadwork, and hand-painted prints while also offering the prestige of limited edition pieces. Thus, he has gained a loyal local following and the attention of the international market. Laurel also co-pioneered the social enterprise known as Rags to Riches. This organization enables women from poor communities across the country to earn through creating fashion and home accessories out of upcycled scrap cloth, organic materials, and indigenous fabrics. Today, Rags to Riches has evolved into an eco-ethical lifestyle brand. Here are some of Rahul Laurel's works. Another designer is Lulu Tangan. Known for her fashionable knitwear line since 1985, Lulu Tangan had been dubbed the Queen of Knitwear in the country. That specialty has since evolved into a new hand-woven line called Indigenous Couture that blends Philippine artisan crafts, fabrics, fibers, and other local materials with Tangan's signature contemporary lifestyle dressing. The designer's vision is to encourage the use of stylized indigenous and traditional wear as she draws inspiration from the rich textile and embroidery traditions of the Philippines and interprets these in modern styles and silhouettes. Further, each Tangan creation is 95% handmade, hand-loomed, knitted, and woven by Philippine artisans. Another artist is Dita Sandico Ong. This Philippine designer, who has been advocating the use of local weaving techniques and natural fibers, is Dita Sandico Ong. Known as the wrap artiste of the Philippines for her famous bold-colored wraps, Sandico Ong first experimented with the local weave of Ilocos Sur, known as Inabel, as well as with pineapple fibers blended with Irish linen, dubbed Peñalino. From there, she tried other local fibers, particularly abaca, which she was introduced to by weaver and entrepreneur Virgilio Apanti. Sandico Ong has since been working with a multi-purpose cooperative in Catanduanes, training them in natural dye extraction and advanced weaving techniques for abaca. Today, her collection includes wraps or panuelos, as well as boleros, jackets, and long tunics of banana fiber and abaca. Her designs are presented in fashion shows around the world and are sold in high-end shops in major international cities. Here are the sample works of Lulu Tangan and sample works of Dita Sandico Ong. In conclusion, the rapid development of technology worldwide has brought the Philippines to innovative art forms and progress from the traditional art of painting, sculpture, and architecture. The development of technology helped Filipino artists not only in providing more options for creative expression but livelihood as well. Filipino artists are now able to contribute more to the economy of the Philippines. And that's the end of our topic about media-based arts in the Philippines. I hope you learned a lot about the modern techniques and trends in photography, film, print media, digital media, and product and industrial design, as well as the talent, creativity, and quality workmanship of Filipino artists and designers in all these fields. Thank you for watching and see you on our next lesson. Bye!